and all the issues that we just got done talking about on the other issue. But anyway, they're in custody, and this program is designed to starts out at the jail, and our conversation at the meeting that we had that Darren just mentioned last week, I'm pretty sure all the players, all the people that needed a voice at the table were there. The sheriff's office was well represented, so was the jail. Dale, the warden, and Dave were there. The probation department and myself, Darren, and several others were there, and we discussed how would the protocol work from the time that somebody was taken into custody until the time that they were released. We go to family guidance, and basically I'll try this as quickly as I possibly can. But the way we all came to agreement this meeting last week that the family guidance would go into the jail. They would take maybe up to 20 people at a time who might be interested in the program, so the information would go out. We have other information there too. We have GED classes, we have all sorts of programs at the jail through the Center for Correctional Concerns. And this will be another pamphlet, this will be another offer to these inmates. They can come to these meetings that will be run by family guidance. They can determine for themselves if they want to get involved in the program. If they do, then there's an assessment by family guidance. If they are found to be eligible, then they are given a Vivitrol shot in the jail. This all goes also through the defendant's, the custody's attorney, so that the attorney knows what's going on. Then the attorney would also file a motion with the judge to say, hey judge, we'd like you to lower bond to the extent necessary to let my client out of jail. He's already got, or is about to get, his one Vivitrol shot in jail. As a condition of bond, judge, we're going to have you require my client, once upon being released within 24 hours, within 48 hours, whatever it is, to report to the Family Guidance Office on Glenwood Avenue for further assessment, treatment, and then another Vivitrol shot 30 days later, I believe. The design of this is these defendants need to get I believe 3 Vivitrol shots to really help them, and also treatment. You can't just get the shot. You have to go through an assessment. You have to go through treatment. But that would have been ordered by the judge again in his conditions of release. So that would be done, and as long as the defendant is following through with what he's supposed to, that gets reported back to the judge and everything is fine. But if not, then family guidance, if there's a failure to comply somewhere, that gets reported back to the state's attorney's office. They would file a motion in the court for a rehearing on bond, and then I couldn't imagine a judge, if that were found to be the case, would not put him back into custody. So that's basically the procedure. I know that Roger's here. I know the undersheriff is here. Is that basically, you were at the meeting, was that basically what we're talking about? Very little additional cost on any of this to the county. Yeah. The sheriff and the jail were great on providing us on time and space, and that's got to stay flexible because we really don't know how it's going to be used. This is really going to be a new program in Will County, and we're going to do this on Saturdays. So you have a vendor that provides the medical services already in the jail, CCS, and Family Guidance will be using their space, but not during the week when CCS needs it. They'll be using it on Saturdays. There may be an opportunity to use it in very serious or emergency situations during the week, but we hope that will be very limited, if at all.
And have you set a start date for that, when you'd like to start those initial education classes?
From the judge's perspective, July 1 is really the date that we want, because the Family Guidance Grant starts July 1. Even though they've begun it already, especially as it relates to trying to incorporate some of the things that I'm talking about now with specialty courts. And that's a place, obviously substance abuse, to these custodies might be best off in specialty courts. Maybe they need a treatment program first, maybe they need something inpatient, but whatever it is, we now have professionals at Family Guidance and through specialty courts, because as you all know, there's a professional staff that's with specialty courts, starting with Julie McCabe and everybody else. The idea is to get these people in the right programs as quickly as possible, but our specialty courts are certainly one of those resources.
And then you said that they, it requires 3 shots. Each shot lasts approximately 30 days, correct? So we're looking at a 90-day window?
I believe so.
Just for clarification, I think they said they would provide 3 shots and then get them on Medicare or Medicaid to pay for the remaining 9 shots. They need 1 year's worth of treatment.
There was,
the shots.
Meari is correct, that there was, Ron did discuss trying to get them on Medicaid so that it would be paid for that way. And I don't, and you're right, I don't remember if he said after 3 or after the first one.
Yeah, I think he said they would pay for 3 out of the grant. And by that time, they should have them enrolled in Medicaid, and Medicaid should be able to take over the cost, which then allows them to treat more people.
It was my understanding that really you wanted to do a minimum of 3 because you're really trying to set a foundation under these individuals to get them released and get them out and give them the best foundation you can at starting and being productive and it's one of the things that we can do with this grant to actually support the recovery of the individual.
It's a 2-year grant that we found out last week from Ron at Family Guidance. But the first year is I think the grant total $500 and some thousand, $540 maybe. It's a 2-year total grant. So if we make the right use of it, it's something I would expect that will continue on. And that's another reason why we want to start this July 1st, because obviously Family Guidance needs to justify the grant by the numbers that come in. So we want to be able to hit the ground running and provide the right people to him who need and deserve this program as quickly as possible.
Again, this ties right back into the stepping up initiatives that we've been talking about. So we've got 2 great things moving forward here to support that.
If I may, I know just enough about this. I only started learning about this last week, basically, and I got involved probably because of the program that we're implementing, and partly because Carl was on vacation last week. So we had to get these meetings done, because we knew we wanted to get this thing going by July 1st. But I know just enough to get me in trouble.
Yeah, I understand.
But Carla Policandriotis, she's the one. So that's why I would love to have her come and speak to you in more detail about this, and specialty courts come whatever date you want.
I'm hoping we can get her in here. Beth, you've been waiting.
I just wanted to clarify the specialty courts that exist in Will County. I'm familiar with drug and veteran, and what are the other ones that fall under the umbrella of specialty court?
There are 2 others. ARI, which is Adult Redeploy Illinois, also a drug-related substance abuse program.
Okay.
It allows, it's a little bit different. It does allow some defendants to get into the ARI program that would not otherwise be eligible for the drug court program. Maybe some violent crimes. There's some other, but also I believe that in drug court, if you successfully complete it and graduate, the case is dismissed. That's not true in ARI court. Is that right, Meari?
I believe you're correct.
So you still have a record, you still have a conviction, you still have an opportunity to stay out of prison, because without ARI court, in most circumstances, that particular defendant is looking towards going to prison. But ARI, it's an Illinois, it's a state of Illinois program. It is designed to try to give those people, even though they have a background, even though they might not otherwise be eligible, there's something about them, there's something about their case that might make them eligible, and there's a thought that they could still become productive citizens. And we've had a great deal of success with the ARI program as well. That's the 3rd program. The 4th program we have is the mental health program. So we do mental health on Tuesday afternoons. The presiding judge, Didi Asperger. On Wednesday is ARI and veterans together. That's presided over by Judge Policandriotis, and drug court on Thursdays is presided over by Judge Sarah Jones.
Tim, you had a question?
Yeah, you had mentioned that did we receive this grant? Because I'm looking at this attached email, and it looks like it's an application for grant.
Yeah, the email we got attached doesn't.
It doesn't pull, okay, because I was going back
I
and
looked
forth.
at that too, because that's the one that just came out.
Okay. And is the grant a funded grant, or in theory funded from the state of Illinois?
Family Guidance, I believe, already has this grant. They
So
already
it's
have it.
budgeted in?
Yes.
Good.
They have it.
Good.
In fact, the state approached them, from what I understood from Family Guidance last week. And Darren, you recall that? I think the state approached them partly because of what I said earlier, that they identified Will County as a county in need.
Kathleen has a question.
No, well, I don't have a question, but I think I can clarify a little bit about, if you don't mind.
Can you introduce yourself?
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure if everyone on the committee knows.
I'm Kathleen Burke. I'm the new Director of Substance Use Initiatives for Will County. And I also am funded under a grant from SAMHSA, which is similar to the grant that is going to be funding this program. So Will County has been identified as a county with a high need because of the number of deaths that we've had with heroin and opiates. And therefore, the state of Illinois came to us and wanted to put the funding that they're now getting from the feds into this county. So we are one of 5 counties that have been identified like this. Part of the program that Family Guidance is taking advantage of is this MAT, or Medical Assisted Treatment Program. And medical assisted treatment means that you are provided a medication to assist you in staying in recovery. Vivitrol is one type of medication. It is a non-opioid based medication that you give by shot for once every 30 days. You cannot have any opioids in your system when you get the shot. And then it reduces the cravings and the ability for you to move on with your recovery. You do have to be in treatment. It's not a one-shot deal and you're fine. It also is used on alcohol substance abuse too. So other medical assisted treatment is Suboxone. Maybe some of you have heard of Suboxone. It's another strategy that is used for the same reason. It's meant to reduce the cravings and assist the brain in managing its recovery as it heals. That is a combination of naloxone and an opioid, a small amount of opioid, because all our brains make opiates. And when you are a substance user with opioid addiction, your brain stops making it and you need it to heal and to start making it again. The third one is methadone. And methadone is a long time, many of you know about methadone. Family Guidance offers methadone and Vivitrol treatment, and hopefully we're going to be getting them some Suboxone too. And they have therapists there that are going to be supporting this program, because you don't want to put people in treatment with just the medicine. You always want to have the psychological support and cognitive work that needs to be done. So you're guaranteed the money. It's already been allocated by the feds, and I know that was my first concern when it came to me. Was like, the state's going to give us some money? I don't think so. But also, it's a fabulous program for getting people, once they leave the jail, in any case, whether they're on bond or whether they're being discharged, immediately into treatment. Because more people die 2 weeks after they leave jail than any other time. So it's a tremendous program.
That's an amazing statistic.
Yeah, I just want to clarify. I know from previous jobs, things, a lot of your federal grants are flown through the state. So they're funded federally, but then they flow through the state to flow out to the, it's a pass-through basically is all it is. And that's done with a lot of federal grants.
Any other questions regarding Family Guidance and this new process that Will County has been selected and the judge has actually been a part of implementing here? Anyone? No, there's some good things going on. And, you know, I get concerned about the money bond issue and the pressure that seems to be coming to reduce money bond. I understand the thought process behind it. And it's my hope that those money bonds do not go away entirely. It's one way that the county, it is the way that the county collects a lot of our fees and fines and penalties. And so I don't know where that puts us if they do remove that, but it's a big issue.
I think that I would not be surprised if you ran the numbers that collection of just fines is 7 figures a year.
So,
And if we don't have bond, that's where the bond, that's what comes, that's where your fines get paid, is from the bond when the case is done.
well, especially, give us an idea, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, what type of money would be involved, like in a murder bond?
Well, I've not seen in Will County a murder bond of less than $1 million, 10% to apply. I know that when I was on a felony court, anywhere from 1 million to 10 million, depending on what it was. And people do post. There's a murder defendant right now in Will County that had $1 million bond and posted $100,000 cash. And in this county, in this state, it's 10% cash, unless the judge makes it a cash bond, which is possible, but not usually for something that high, usually 10%. There's no bail, if you notice, there's no bail bondsman stores or, storefronts in Illinois anymore. That hasn't been in a long time because we do this now instead. A lot of states still do bail bond because they post a 10% form or whatever it is. So, but that's, and then the class, I would just say, off the top of my head, Class X is the most serious, is the next most serious under M's, and your bond could be anywhere from probably 100,000 to 500,000. In Class 1s, maybe 50,000 to 100,000. So it's all 10% to apply, but if they're released, and obviously a lot are released. We have 3,000 new felony cases filed every year in Will County, 3,000 new misdemeanor cases filed every year in Will County, and you have about an average daily custody balance of about 800 people in jail. So a lot of people post bond. There's a lot of bond money out there from which fines, costs, fees get paid, reimbursements to victims get paid, and those sorts of things. So if that all goes away, then that goes away also because what's going to happen is you enter judgments against these defendants. There's no such thing as going to jail because you can't pay a bill. There's no debtor's program in this country. So you get a judgment entered, and then if they can't afford to pay as time goes on, then they don't pay. So the fees, fines, and costs don't get paid. The victim doesn't get reimbursed for whatever it might have been. So it's an issue. There's got to be a balance, in my view, somewhere. But whether we're going to go right from one to the other, I don't know, or not. That's going to be the interesting question as we move forward.
Gretchen.
You said that the Illinois Supreme Court and the General Assembly seem to be in a race to do something with this. Does that mean, do you know of any active legislation in the General Assembly that we can contact either our state senators or our state representatives and tell them, either support this or change this or, tweak this legislation so that we don't get rid of the money bond system? Because I agree with Darren. I think it sounds like a really bad idea to me.
From a county board standpoint, with the economic, yes, and I think from a legal, judicial standpoint, I think potentially yes too. But I did say they're in a race, didn't I? They're both taking their time because they both, hopefully I want them to take their time because I want them to get it as right as they possibly can. Yes, there is some legislation that I've seen that was proposed last month. I do not believe it went anywhere by May 31st. I'm sure it didn't. I can look for it. Kelly, are you making notes on this one?
Kelly can look for it.
Kelly.
Thank God for Kelly.
We'll see what we can find, but I'm pretty sure that there was a suggestion out there, and the Supreme Court will definitely take their time because they want to be sure that what they're doing. And we've been having seminars and conferences consistently for at least a year on this, all over the state. The chief judges talk about this almost every month that they're on our agenda. So this is going to take time. I don't see anything happening this year, would be my best guess.
Well, the legislature, I understand, is probably going to be doing summer sessions. So the legislation that was in the previous session did not expire on May 31st as it should have. So anything that was out there is still alive, is my understanding.
And all these will have the majority to get it passed, right?
Yeah. I think that would usually the super majority.
Well, that's why it's so important that we continue to pursue these other conditional, or conditions that we can attach, so.
And all these questions have helped me justify to you why I'm doing this now instead of being forced up against the wall to do it quickly. So,
Well, not only is it helpful to us as we're going through this process, I think that the feedback that we'll be giving back to the state on some of the successes and some of the programs that are out there will be huge as they're looking over these new processes and saying, hey, we see this working in Lake County, we see this not working in Kane, we see this working, you know. So I think that by the courts getting out in front of this and starting to establish some groundwork, that's going to be valuable information for feeding back up. So I'm glad that we're out there working on this. So, guys, any questions? It's been a great meeting. I appreciate you coming in this morning.
Always.
Chief
Thanks
Judge.
for having me.
It's always a pleasure. And so, with that, there is no other new business today. No chairman's report, no executive session required. Can we get a motion for adjournment? A public comment?
I got one.
Yes.
Stay right here.
Oh, no, come on out. I'm sorry. Just state your name.
My name is Raymond Richardson.
Okay.
I just pretty much want to address the issues that I'm having with the Will County judges.
Okay.
My mother has a previous personal injury case that is pending right now in appeal. She's very disrespected by a couple of judges. I won't state their names. She's on disability, and I kind of stepped in for my mother and I said, hey, can I speak to my mother's half? They said I was trying to practice law or whatever. But actually, in the previous case that I had, I actually represented my mother and I won the trial. So I didn't understand how I was practicing law. And I actually presented to one judge. She said I could actually, represent my mother, and then other judges said I couldn't. So I kind of didn't understand that. So I've just been having problems with these judges, and I don't understand what's going on. Like I said, the personal injury case is still pending right now. And then we have a couple of other cases I have against a couple of lawyers. One lawyer was actually trying to represent us, and he was suspended. So we filed a suit on that. But I've just been having problems with the Will County judges, and I just want to address the issues that are having, and I'm trying to contact whoever to kind of get justice served on the matter. That's kind of all I have.
Well, I'm not sure where to give you direction on who we should speak with. Mary, can you?
Well, it's
give
not a
us-
role for county board.
Yeah, it's not what we do in our committee,
Expect
but
that he would.
Well, I did go to the Judicial Inquiry Board, so I'm kind of going forward on that. But I just want to address Will County because this is Will County judge. So kind of let you know what's going on.
sure. We appreciate you coming in and doing that because it's important for us to know what's happening in the community with our judicial process. We're not a committee that would handle that type of discussion. But we can surely look and try to identify where you should point your concerns so that those can get addressed and resolved. I will be happy to look into that myself. If I could get your information, I'd be happy to email you that information.
Sure.
So if I'll meet with you this after the committee's over and get that from you.
Thank you.
And Mary, that's okay on my part to do, correct?
You're certainly allowed to speak with a constituent.
Thank you. Got myself nervous there for a moment. So, I did ask, do we have a motion for adjournment? Is there any other public comment before we close the session? Okay, can I get a motion for adjournment? Second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, thank you. Did you have a comment?
Yeah, I actually did. I'm looking at under new business, there was another SAMHSA grant, and I'm a little confused, we haven't.
The grant that we were discussing comes under that program. It wasn't the specific grant that was regarding substance abuse for.
Yeah, pregnant and postpartum,
It's-
right.
Yeah, it's this, it got identified on the agenda because it's coming out of that particular fund, but that's not the grant that we were looking at.
Okay.
I know it was confusing to me as well when I read through it, so. All right, thank you very much.
At least you know we read our minutes, right? I
Good
know.
morning, Mike.
Viva